my stream on Thursday at a hotel, and we actually had to start our drive like the one for music photog hangout, and we actually had to start our drive at 2 in the afternoon for that day because of it, and it wasn't working on the hotel internet. They had me like firewalled or something, so I had to use my girlfriend's webcam, or not webcam, hotspot, and I was like, "Thank you so much."
Yeah, I was gonna say hotspots when you need them. Yeah. They're a lifesaver, man.
Oh my god, let's go. What's up, Connor? What's up, chat? Connor's in here.
I'm waiting on the chat. I still have a Jersey Mike said. There we go. Now there we are.
Oh, that's why. Yeah, we got the 30 seconds. Hello, hell. Hello, hell. Hello. Whoa, man. Watch it with the language. What's up? I'm Yellow. Steve's not. I'm auditioning for The Simpsons. What up, Steve?
Connor's in there. Who else? Steve's in there.
Oh, yeah. Cool. We've got all the employees showed up for work today.
Exactly.
Everybody's clocking in right now. I did make a tweet. I'm going to send an Instagram post once we get that going, but I'll just post it now, actually.
It's amazing how blown out my video looks on Twitch. That's interesting. I should darken that.
How was the rest of your drive, Adam? Steve, how was your week? Connor with the questions. My drive was chill.
He's on it.
I'm in Wisconsin now, hanging. Feeling a little disconnected from my bald friend here, but we're doing our best. And then, Steve, how's your week?
Good. What did I just quit? Did I just quit Safari? Oh my god! I just
Not
did.
this.
My week. No, but for a second there, I was trying to quit something else, and I quit Safari. My week was really, really good. Just like usual. It's so weird with all this downtime. I feel busier than when it wasn't downtime.
Oh yeah. Respect. Can you hear any other noises in the house I'm in right now, or can you just hear me?
No, I just hear you. I can hear my air conditioner though. So
what up, Jekka does things? What up? Who's here? Say hey in the chat. Let's go. We're gonna a little slow start tonight. I'm okay with that. Let's hang out. Let's get warmed up. Do some jump jacks. I don't know. I'm trying to think what I did, what I can update you on, Steve. I visited all my best friends' parents today, which was kind of cool.
So how long are you gonna be in Wisconsin?
Indefinitely. Thanks for the subscribe, Savannah G. What up, Sydney? I'm gonna be here until we drive home.
I mean, are you planning on a week? Are you planning on 3 weeks?
I think we're right in the middle at 2, and then on the way home we're gonna hit some national monuments or something, or go to Yellowstone or wherever we can go that's distant and social.
I have not been to, and it's embarrassing, I haven't been to most of the national parks.
It's okay. You can still
go.
I
need to. Yeah, exactly. They're still there.
They're still there. They are still there, boys. What up, everyone?
All right. I closed my browser, so I got to reopen all my files here.
Oh my goodness gracious, Gully G. Hi, I haven't been to a stream in a while. Well, it's nice to have you back, because I do remember your name and I do remember your face. I mean, your name, not really your face, but it's nice to have you back. It was a good stream tonight too.
How was your stream last week? Your photographer hang?
It was good. We had people from the autism spectrum, and it was cool. There was 4 people there for half of it, and then 30 minutes in, the 5th person just showed up. And she had just rolled out of bed, and it was so funny. I was loving it. She's like, hey, I'm sorry. I just got up.
It happens.
Yeah, because, I give them the Twitch, I give them the Zoom thing, and they can click it and join whenever. And halfway through, it was let Jade in, and I let her in, and I'm so happy she joined because she had some amazing things to. Thank you, Jugger. Good morning, Odin. I'm so happy that she joined because she had some really amazing things to say, and we're really fortunate to have everybody that we had. But yeah, it was if you get a chance, the YouTube or the replay on here, just check it out. It was a good stream. It's only an hour. Lots of good information from people about things that you wouldn't really know unless you have a friend that is on the spectrum.
Nice.
But yeah.
How you're doing those? What time?
What up, Marissa?
10 a.m. Thursday mornings.
Evan's here. He was there. Yeah, Cornish Gamer. Thank you for sub. 3 months. Wow, we've been doing it. Yeah, it's usually
Cornish.
2 o'clock California time, 5 o'clock Eastern, but because of my drive, I switch it to noon sometimes, depending on if we have people from the UK and what time they go to bed. Because 2 o'clock is 10 o'clock their time, and or if like I need to get it done early, so it's two. It's always on a Thursday, but the start time juggles. Yeah, what up? And I just hung out with Evan today, and I was like, come to the stream later, and now he is here.
Okay.
What up, Marissa? Yeah, Marissa, Jade was awesome. Jade was so awesome. I loved it. But yeah, that's good. What up? And yeah, that's pretty much it.
There we go. I'm reset up.
Hell yeah. Dude, what up, Lasad? It was super nice too, like, because I'm in Wisconsin, like, obviously we're still social distancing and everything, but it's nice to see a lot of my old friends and people I haven't seen in a while. And
when was the last time you were there? Were you there a couple of years ago for a wedding?
1 year ago. I was here a couple of years ago for a wedding too.
Yeah.
And I did. Also, I'm gonna send you a video later. We went to this place called Woodman's, which is like a grocery store in Wisconsin, but it's in Madison. It's a massive grocery store, and the cheese aisle there's a whole aisle for cheese.
Cheese. Well, it's Wisconsin, yeah.
Dude, lots of cheese. I need to send the video. It was insane. And
that'd be heaven for me because I love cheese.
Cheese curds, cheese in every form.
Nothing like good cheese.
And
see, but you're in Wisconsin with a Louisiana sign behind you, and you're not wearing a cheese hat.
I know, man. I'm just living it up, dude. Can I tell you the wedding? So last time I was here, I went to this wedding, and it was at my friend's barn. He has like property that he inherited from his parents, and I hit my friend up this time. I was like, hey, can I come visit your barn farm / They have tiny homes there. They make homes out of whatever. They're kind of just living off the grid. They're like, yeah, we made a trampoline in the silo. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, we put a giant trampoline in the silo. And they send me a picture, and there's literally like a silo, and the trampoline fits perfect in the middle. And they climb down in the middle, and you just jump up and down on it.
Have you done it yet?
No. I'm excited, though. We haven't gotten a chance. We've only been here for, this is our second day.
Wow.
Yeah. But I'm very excited. And it's going to be fun. So,
cheese here is life.
Yeah. I
love it.
I wish I had a way to bring the video up on here.
Who was it? Somebody in there, was it Connor? I think asked, what's the best cheese? I'll let you go.
Oh, like what's my favorite or what's the best?
Yeah, like what's the best cheese to you?
Cheese in curd form. Cheese curds, I think, are the best.
I don't think I've ever had cheese curds.
Yeah, most people haven't. It's really, really, like you go and you're getting deep in cheese culture.
For me, it's probably a really good Gouda. Or cheddar.
What the heck, Marissa? What's going on? Why? Yeah, Gouda's good.
Cheese curds are gross. I'm leaving this chat.
You're literally a mod. Havarti. Evan with the Havarti.
Oh, Havarti's good. Yeah, I like Havarti.
Cheese
Gouda. I love a good Gouda.
Yeah, Gouda's good. Gouda is good.
Captain Lasagna said bye.
Don't like.
Yeah, I've never had a cheese curd. Explain cheese curds to me.
I don't know the actual technical. It's like you just get cheese in a different process.
Not like cottage cheese, right?
Kind of, but it comes in it's like almost like, I mean, I can grab them. They're literally like little curds of cheese, and you just take them and they squeak in your mouth and eat them. And they're not squeaking them. They're not fresh. Yeah, that's a thing.
They squeak in your mouth.
Okay, yeah,
I got it.
Nacho cheese. Get out of here, Marissa. I got that joke on block. Just kidding.
Fried cheese.
Oh my God, Phil Matroy with the jokes. I vibe that. Steve, if I send you the video real fast of the cheese aisle, will you pull it up on screen share?
Yeah, do it. Text it to me. It's easier. Did you already?
No. It's like 30 seconds. I don't know if it's gonna mess up if I text it to you. It'll like send really small. Let me see.
Try it. I can make it work.
Yeah, let's see. Where's the cheese aisle? 30-second video.
Can you find it?
I found it.
Let me grab something over here.
I hope this sends. I'm on Wi-Fi, so I don't think it'll compress too much. But dude, it's 30 seconds, so we're about to get the cheese tour. And let me grab the curds too, so we can educate.
Oh, you actually have them there? Oh, I got the movie.
I live here.
I'll get the movie ready. Oh, this is going to be good. All right, let me move that over there. And we'll do... Hold on.
You know what summer sausage is?
I've heard it.
Like a log
But
of
I don't-
sausage. We got that here too. You cut it up in like this. This is a cheese curd.
All right, I've got it open over here. Let me go full screen.
This is what they look like.
So it is a chunk of cheese though. It's not cottage cheese like soft.
No, you can eat a whole thing of these, and that's just what we did my whole life. All right, you got it up. You got it pulled up.
I got the video up. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
Oh, why does it sound so low res? That's what I was worried about.
Well, I've got it. Hold on, I've got it full screen.
No, I think it's the resolution of the video, or it's just how it looks when you share it.
Let me make it smaller. Maybe it'll look better. Could just be the way it came through text.
That's what I'm saying. Is I think it's too long. When you text it, it compresses it.
Oh, it skips a gap and keeps going?
Dude, it's long. It's not even done. This is like a list. There's more.
Oh, I want to go there.
That's all cheese also.
So are there any cheeses in there that you look at and go, what the heck is that?
I didn't see them independently. I just saw them as a whole vessel, as a whole entity of cheese. Yeah, Brennan, you know what's up. So yeah, that was. Yeah, they have.
Yeah, cheese heaven.
They
Exactly.
have fried beer here too. That's a thing, which I didn't know about.
I'm not sure what that would even do.
You can fry beer. You can fry. Yeah, you fry it and you eat it like crispy. I don't understand how it works. Evan, can you explain it?
They fry it until it dries out in the bottom of like a fry pan?
I think so. I don't know. I need somebody who's better at being Wisconsin than I.
Who else do we got in there?
Eh.
Bacon cheese is my favorite. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's...
Bacon. Anything with bacon is good.
Yeah.
Hurts my brain to think. Yeah.
That is true.
Wisconsin.
Yeah. Yo, people say that whenever I say I'm from Wisconsin. They say that thing, and I'm like...
You don't have an accent, though, at all.
Yeah, I practice.
Did you when you lost it?
I don't know. Bagel? Is bagel wrong?
Not really.
Bagel. Sometimes if I say stuff with like a Y, like... I don't know how to say it. Like I add a little bit.
Most people think Wisconsin, and in their head they hear South Dakota or North Dakota. So, I'll be going down the road.
Yeah. You don't really have that here, to be honest. I don't know.
No, that's North Dakota. Yeah. Minnesota, a little bit maybe.
People are messing up. Green Bay Packers. Yeah, that's a good one. Packers.
Packers.
That's how I used to talk. Green Bay Packers. I don't really say it like that now, but used to. You sound a little like you're from Buffalo.
You're both from Buffalo. Hey, what's up? I'm talking here.
Well, Rob's about to jump in here, so you guys make sure you give him a warm welcome in chat when he joins us. We're very excited to have him on this week. It's good vibes.
And such a great photo that he picked. So definitely give him some love. Follow him online.
Follow him offline if you want.
I suppose.
Yeah. And lasagna with the Rob Loud links.
I was just gonna say the guy is so quick, it's scary.
Yeah, I wonder what is. I feel like his setup is looks like a battleship, but he's just got like stuff everywhere. He's like, all right, they need links, and he just like grabs it and then throws it in. He's like,
yeah, he's got a Word document sitting over there with every link that he needs. Interesting though is Nicole said that she did not edit this week's photo. Oops. There's still time.
Yeah, we're not going into it for another hour.
Rob's going to do it live. You could go do it right now while you're watching.
Yeah. Just silently following Rob Loud. Great joke. All right, Rob's here. Rob's coming in.
Rob.
Let me make sure it looks good.
Here he is. The man, the myth. Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Loud.
I'm changing your name to say your at. What up, man?
What's up, guys? How are you?
Hanging.
We're good.
We've been talking about stuff that's...
Oh, you're editing his name. Perfect.
Yeah, I just changed your name to @RobLoud. We've been talking about stuff that's not super important, but everybody's saying hi to you in chat. Thank you, guys. Thanks for welcoming. What's up, Christian? We were just talking about cheese curds. Do you know
cheese curd?
Do you know what cheese curds are?
I sure do.
Yeah,
the pride of Wisconsin.
Are you from that area too?
No. I'm from New York. I mean, I'm familiar with it probably most from. Oh, there you go. And they're squishy, right?
Yeah,
When they get a
squeaky.
little warm, yeah, squeaky.
Yeah.
You
I
guys
know
are
them most.
freaking
I
me
feel
out,
like
man.
from like disco fries. What do you call them? In Canada, poutine.
Oh yeah.
Oh, poutine. Yeah.
Poutine uses
Hmm.
cheese curds. They
What
melt
did you
them on
wait?
top.
What did you call them a second ago? Disco
Disco
fries?
fries.
Disco fries, yeah. Where I grew up, yeah, disco fries would be more like Swiss cheese gravy and fries. That would be like the
Yeah,
late night
poutine.
order at the diner.
Which there is still no emoji for, just so that you know, there's no emoji for poutine.
It's coming. In
Yeah,
Canada, maybe there is.
No, there's not.
No.
You have to
No,
go to
'cause
Canada
I
to
know
check.
somebody who's every time there's going to be an update with new emojis, they say we need poutine. We need poutine.
I don't know if you can get all that detail in such a small.
You couldn't.
Illustration.
It's like
Yeah.
doing nachos.
Right. Yeah.
Magnifying glass to read it.
How do I see comments? Do I have to pull up the?
Yeah, you just go to
Twitch?
twitch.tv/elmakias/chat, and that's literally a chat box. It'll just pull up the chat box.
Cool.
ELMAKIAS. And yeah, basically,
Chili cheese fries.
you
Ooh,
missed
I like that.
every single person in chat saying hi, Rob. So we'll give a
Okay.
shout out to Evan, Christian, Savisha, Jake, Nicole, Anna, Luna, Evan. Whoa, everybody basically give you a warm welcome. If you guys want to welcome them
nice.
again, that's fine. But yeah,
Thank you.
they're good
Hello,
people
everyone.
here. They're really good people here. People that show
Yeah,
up.
it's a killer community.
Yeah.
Oh, pun. Was that pun number one or was that intentional?
Yes, no, totally intentional. I totally, as
Okay.
far as anybody knows,
I'm
meant that.
computing. I get it now.
Yeah. It's done often, and usually actually unintentionally. I mean, I do it all the time.
Yeah, you have intention behind it.
Can't help it.
Yo, so what was I gonna say? How's your week been, Rob?
The week has been good. Weekend was good. I just saw my 2-year-old nephew today,
Ooh.
so that was fun. Although I went to see my brother, expecting to go to the beach, and I ended up helping him clean the garage. So
Those are pretty much
sure.
the same thing.
But you know what? There's something about, I live in Brooklyn in an apartment and I haven't had a garage in a while. And anytime I'm in a friend's garage, I look around, I'm like, look at all this space that you could just put things
in. Yeah.
Like anything here.
There's
and
so
so
much
there was a
activities.
charm to it. Yeah, there was a charm to hanging out in a garage for a couple hours today. I can go to the beach anytime. When's the next time I can help my brother clean his garage?
That's true. Well, I'm guessing next year you'll get the call.
Probably, yeah. That's what happened. You set them up or set yourself up. Expectations.
I feel like helping somebody clean something is one of the best gifts you can give somebody, because like a clean physical space helps people with their mental space, and I feel like you're literally making their life better.
Yeah, I agree. I don't mind like helping. I shouldn't say this in public, but I don't really mind helping people move or do things like that. I like to call it accidental exercise, which is my favorite kind of exercise. So
it's a great excuse for a pizza party.
Exactly. Yeah.
Bunch of friends get together, move one person, and eat pizza.
Yeah. And a couple beers if you're into it.
That's great. Yeah, man. You gotta get creative these days, because that's why we do this stuff. We gotta stay social. I feel like it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Exercise is the things I'm missing right now, which is friendship, people.
Yeah.
And learning from people.
I was so like early in quarantine. There were some days I was FaceTiming with people for like 4 or 5 hours, like or even longer sometimes. Like back to back, like different people.
Yeah.
It's definitely has tapered off a lot since, but in the early days, I don't know about you guys, but I was spending way too much time, I think, even on FaceTime and Hangouts and Zoom and House Party or whatever it's called.
See, and that's where I'm at all the time now. But even that is a good time to, you mentioned when you clean a garage, it's a good time to just sit and have a beer. And you can sit and have a beer and talk to somebody over Zoom, and it's easy.
Come back to it.
Oh, yeah.
What's your beer choice, Rob?
I'm very
His
familiar.
The internet's cutting out. Am I crazy?
What did you say?
I think you're lagging. What's that called again? What's it called?
My internet or your internet?
I don't know. Is Steve? Are you seeing him cut out, or is it just me?
Yeah, I'm not seeing you. Just it's probably Rob's internet.
It's all good, man. If you have the stream up, just make sure that the video isn't playing from it. I don't know if that makes sense. Just pause it. Sometimes that'll happen. Boomer lag. That's what it's called. It's okay. He's dropping frames, but it's no worries. You can always quit and come back in this link too.
Oh,
Oh yeah, we can't hear you.
Also, if you have any backups, if you have like a Backblaze or Time Machine running, make sure those are disabled.
Shoot him
because that'll kill it.
Oh wait, you're back now, I think, or maybe not.
Everything. I have good internet typically, but it's been a little wonky lately.
No, dude,
I don't really have anything
home.
open.
No, dude, you're good. I just wanted to let you know,
What's
but
that?
like you're back now, so it's fine. And
yeah, you're
if
good.
it gets bad again, it doesn't matter because we're just gonna wait and then we'll hang out when you're good. So it's all good.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the old fan has kicked on.
Oh, like the computer's
on the
overpower.
laptop.
Like, what did I do?
Which I
Why
don't
are you
understand,
working
'cause-
so hard? What did I do?
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. I'm not liquefying in Photoshop. I'm not.
Are you editing pictures again?
I have one photo in an entire catalog. I have one photo.
Yeah.
Just for this purpose, and that's really all I got open. I mean, I got Photo Mechanic. Let me close that. But anyway, I'm back.
So let's ask this one early because we ask everybody.
So, yeah.
Shower shoes, no shower shoes.
When you're touring.
Yeah, when you're touring.
I prefer shower shoes, but I certainly have taken many a shower without. I'm known to travel with slippers.
Shower
Like
slippers,
like-
or just to the
No, just slippers. Like the cheap ones that you get in hotels.
Oh yeah,
I kind of stockpile them. I usually, if I'm in a hotel, I usually don't get my room cleaned too often, because especially if we're only there like a day or two. But I'll kind of stash it that first day, so if they do clean, they'll leave me a new pair the next day.
Perfect.
And I will definitely wear those in venues, because like that venue is like your living room for the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to be
that's great.
comfortable.
No, I agree.
But yeah, I know I definitely travel with. I don't know if I call them showers. What do you call them? Shower shoes?
Yeah, just like flip flops.
like flip flops.
Anything that's waterproof.
Yeah, I
Wear 'em in the
keep
shower.
flip flops in my bag. It's kind of one of the few times I actually would wear flip flops, especially in public. Which that's just me.
That's
I got
fair.
some- might be the
That's
rule.
not just you. That's New England.
Okay, good.
West Coast, everybody wears. I live in flip
course.
flops.
Right.
New England, nobody does.
Right. That makes sense, actually.
Anything I don't have to wear socks with, I like.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't wear socks much.
I feel really strongly, like almost on a spiritual level, I like the way a shoe feels when it touches my foot. I feel more connected with the ground beneath it. I don't know. I don't like socks. I don't know. Maybe that's too weird, but that's where I'm at in
No.
life.
So five fingers would be your.
I
happy
used to
spot.
wear those. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I used to wear them, but they started too many conversations. People would start
Like
talking.
the webby ones.
People would start.
Yeah, the ones that have 5 toes.
People would start talking to me unsolicited though, and I'd be like
Yeah.
with headphones, and I'd be like, "Oh man, this is not good." It's like having one tattoo on your neck or something. It's like everybody talks
Right.
to you about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or a tattoo on your trigger finger.
What's that say?
says-
Cheese. That's my guy. You're ready for Wisconsin.
Yeah,
But
Actually,
that wasn't
do-
the reason. You didn't get that for Wisconsin, though.
I got it for this.
Yeah,
Cheese.
that's cool.
Jeez.
Do you know an artist named Lights?
Yeah, I know Lights. Known her
Yeah,
for a long
she
time.
did this in a hotel room with she happened to like have her tattoo gun, and she was like giving people tattoos, and this is what we came up with.
That's great.
It
Yeah.
works great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Trick of the trade. How do you get people to smile for your camera? I just use my finger.
Yeah. It's funny too. Like, I mean, you know, if I'm shooting like musicians or like younger people, it's one thing, but you know, if I'm doing something more corporate or like headshots or something, it's always a conversation starter. And I think, you know, they're usually somewhat humored by it, but they're definitely a little confused that I permanently put cheese on my finger.
You know that's there forever, right? Well, nothing's really forever, but yes, it's here for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'll erase it later. I only put it on here just for today.
Yeah.
Wow.
Although it's funny because like the sea is super dark and then
It fades out.
it just sort
It
of
fades out.
tapers off.
Yeah.
So eventually it's just going to say
Lights just
cheese.
got lazy. So you're just like,
It's a
oh,
great
Yeah,
name.
I think so.
That's cool though. I like that. Yo, so when did you? I know it says like 15 years in here, but how long have you been shooting for? Was it 15?
About 15 years. Professionally, about 15 years.
Always music or what?
No.
What'd you start in?
Music. I've been touring or like shooting. I wouldn't say exclusive music, but where music was like my main thing for basically since when I met the Killers, which was in August 2016.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I mean, I had been shooting concerts before that for, you know, probably shot my first concert probably about 14, 15 years ago.
Oh wow. That's awesome.
Basically, I started shooting for Getty Images and like, well, actually a small agency for a little bit, then went to Wire Image and then went to Getty Images. And then eventually Getty Images bought Wire Image. And then that we all kind of came back together anyway. So doing like working the editorial entertainment department, as a freelancer basically. So I would get calls because at that time I was just trying to hustle and make, get jobs because I was very new to this and I hadn't studied formally. And so they would call me like the day of, and sometimes even like in the middle of a event or something. And I remember like one time they called about to shoot this thing with Russell Simmons. And I'm like, sure, when is it? And they're like, well, it started like 10 minutes ago, but it was like 2 blocks from my apartment. And so I just ran over there and I just kept being available always. And wasn't like awful, but it definitely wasn't that great. But they knew I would like get something. It would be better than nothing. So I just sort of fostered that relationship with the assignment editors. And then I would start meeting people at, events and red carpets and would start getting assigned concerts. And I had been going to concerts.
This was through Getty?
Sneaking it.
Or
for Getty, yeah.
So that was like your vessel. It was kind of like how you were getting to these places, but it wasn't your end goal or anything.
Yeah.
And that bit that they knew you would get something can't be overstated.
Yeah.
Get the job done. Sometimes just getting from point A at the start to point B at the end is a huge thing for the people who just want the product.
Yeah, I have two funny firsts, which I never actually strung together. Well, they're not related, but funny one, my first ever paid assignment is, and we're not getting political, but I would say my first paid assignment ever was shooting Donald Trump. It wasn't a one-on-one situation. It was more of like a media event, like at a car show or something. So that was kind of.
This is prior to his presidency. This is like before.
Oh yeah. This is I mean, growing up in New York, I mean, he has been, in the headlines as far as I could remember. But then another first was my first assignment for Wire Image. I got this sort of nice candid shot of Selma Blair on the red carpet, and it was in the New York Post. And the next morning, I had the paper. I was going to, I don't know where I was going, but it's in the subway. I see the picture, and then I see my name. I'm like, oh my God. I turn to the woman next to me. I'm like, that's my picture. Just, like a typical New Yorker was like, who cares?
Yeah. Cool. You can say that inside your head.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that was like, I'm like, oh, this could actually be a job. And like, that's how these pictures end up in the newspaper. I was so clueless.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was just a good experience to start out that way.
So what was it like, so you're shooting for Getty, which, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong here about my general, I've never shot for him, but my understanding is that's quite transactional, right? There's not a lot of heart in it. It's not like capturing emotion. It's very much fulfilling a job, right? You're like, hey, we need you to go here and do this thing.
And it's partially also quantity. I mean, I know people who've shot for Getty that the key is that I just get a lot of pictures of the recognizable person. Somebody will use it.
Well, what's it like going from that and then taking something to arguably something that's, I mean, I don't know the actual time frame or how long it took you, but converting that to something that's much more like emotional, I would say. Like working directly for an artist is the opposite of that. Now you're doing everything, in their interest, not in, I don't know, what's that? How'd you convert that?
Well, I would say shooting for Getty, at least when I started, definitely carried a I don't know if more prestige than now, but the photographers like cared a lot more than maybe you'd think.
Okay.
Especially like
I'm ready to be wrong.
No. Well, I mean, I understand the sort of stereotype of Getty in that world, like from the outside now that I've been removed from it for a bit.
Okay, can I interrupt you?
Sure.
What do you see as somebody who shot for Getty? Because there is a stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see from having been on the inside that stereotype is?
Like now, like currently, like what's my position?
Yeah. What looking back, what do you think that stereotype? How did people look at Getty shooters?
Well, I mean, you have to at that time, like let's take like concerts for example. Like, the there weren't a lot of there weren't a lot of tour photographers
Mm-hmm.
12 years ago, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, like some, but like the social media
Very few.
kind of recreated this position. It was like big in the 60s ish, 70s, and then kind of went away. So when we'd be in a pit at a concert, it would be with a lot of other wire services, maybe some like a magazine or two. So there wasn't like blogs weren't really that popular. So like it just was everyone there were sort of doing like a similar thing. And like I could say for the one thing, the one bad thing for me was that it created really bad habits. But to rewind a little bit, like when we would shoot like Fashion Week, like we were like the in-house Fashion Week photographers.
Yeah.
Like, there was competition for sure. And, we would be shooting, I would be covering maybe like 7, 8 shows in a day. And like, it's all essentially the same thing. Like you shoot backstage, you could shoot the runway, you could shoot the celebrities in the front row. Every show is kind of the same. So there is some competition for sure, which, kind of pushes you. But then I definitely like the bad habits were, yes, getting this perfect tight headshot. So then when, someone does something good or bad, that people will run that picture in the paper,
Mm-hmm.
Which is not a good habit. Or you're shooting shows. It was like, okay, got my vertical. Okay, got my horizontal. It's clean. The guitar is not cut off. Like it's straightforward. Rolling Stone can use it. There's my shot. And so, yeah, like you were saying before, it's definitely somewhat of a quantity thing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're at like a festival or something, I'm trying to shoot like 20 bands and just build up this like stockpile of stock images. And like, that's not really a good way to approach photography.
It's Captain Lasagna said in the chat, as far as the Getty photographer is concerned, 5 camera bodies, 8 lenses, a fisherman's vest.
Yeah.
And there is that image, but don't you think going into tour photography that the work ethic that's required for being a Getty photographer, because you got to get out there and just shoot.
Yeah.
How did that help you prepare for transitioning to tour?
Well, I mean, knocking out an edit, 20 minutes or starting at 3 minutes after the last note is like just ingrained in me. I mean, a client will always be like, oh, we don't need photos till like next week. I'm like, no, you're getting at least like the proofs like tomorrow, because you let a day or two go by, you're on to the next, you just don't care quite as much.
Right.
Yeah. So that was, it developed some good habits in me for sure. But in terms of shooting, it took me a while to really break out of it. And I still sometimes feel like I'm shooting in a way to break out of the sort of chains that it created for me.
Also, just want to add in real fast, Josiah is in chat, and he said you got to bring back the fisherman vest.
Where's that guy? It's hard for me to... there's a lot of comments here.
Yeah, you just scroll down to the bottom and they'll keep... Josiah has a little pink thing in front of his name.
And if you scroll up, it pauses it so that you can stop there and then catch up.
I see.
So the head's filled.
Captain Lasagna. That's
Connor.
An excellent name.
That's Connor. He's our mod. Yeah, he is.
Okay.
He'll post links. If you need anything pulled from the internet, let him know. He probably already has it pulled before we even say. I don't know how, but he's fast. So.
I love it. I don't know if this is a high point or a low point for me during quarantine, but I've made from scratch, I guess you could say, almost from scratch, 4 lasagnas, and I've consumed all of them, including one.
That's great.
One meal in my bed. So, lasagna in bed.
Hold on. When you say from scratch, did you make your own pasta?
I didn't make the pasta, no. So
we just got a pasta.
Come on, Steve. Let him have the fame. You made.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm saying though, if you like lasagna, you got to make your own pasta. It's amazing.
I know. And my sister-in-law makes it all the time. It's such a game changer.
Yeah, and you didn't milk the cows and make the cheese. What's wrong with you?
No,
he did do that.
Oh, that he did. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Crush the tomatoes. All that we got taken care of.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. That's great.
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah, we got the chat. The chat's really good people.
See?
Rob, like
Yeah.
if you can type in there too, Rob. Like if me and Steve are talking, you're like, okay, you could like, and if you ever see us looking down, it's never us disrespecting. We're just looking at chat and responding.
Right.
So-
Yeah, no.
And
I got
Josiah
that.
even chimed in. Josiah makes his own pasta too, because he said making pasta is easier than you think. I'm not alone.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that he does. He seems like like a very do-it-yourself kind of guy.
Josiah, I haven't talked to you all day. What have you been doing? I got a pastas. I got, they have those metal things to, like flatten it with. I'm just going for it.
Yeah,
Making a pasta ball.
he's a lovely person. We've only met one time, but we keep up with each other online.
That's great. Yeah,
Isn't that kind of the
we
cool
try to
thing
get him
about
on here. One of these days
about this whole industry, though? The number of people I've met in this industry that I've met one time at a show, and then you connect online, and the next time you see them, it's like, hey, how you doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The community of music photography is an amazing community. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, for sure. I mean, it's just way more fun when you like can root for people instead of. I mean, even for me though, it's so easy like to. I mean, if you hate on people like for being good, like we would spend a lot of time like really sad and
Stop,
like so what's the point,
Stop
So-
projecting. We don't need your hate.
What's it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I vibe.
no, there's just there's so many amazing concert photographers, and it's just a great camaraderie I'm finding, especially with Instagram and social media, to be able to connect with people that you never even met. So
Yeah, it's
I'm kind of
appreciate
curious. You made an interesting comment that there's so many great live music photographers, and there are. That's part of what I love about it is as you look around, it's not just like they're all great. Everybody has it's an industry and a type of genre of photography that three people can shoot the same band at the same time from the same spot and get completely different work.
mhm. Yeah.
How do you describe your style?
Well, I shooting music, you have like the rock star, and then you have like the person. And like I feel like when you're on tour, like tour specifically, like you see both sides of that. And I like to explore both sides of that. So I feel like with my live photos, I like to sort of simultaneously make them look like the rock stars they are, but also humanize them. And it's sort of an angle where would be torn. Like, do I want to do I want to make them the rock star? Do I want to make them human? And then I was like, one day I'm like, why don't I just do both? And so when I can, obviously, I try to shoot from the stage a lot to try to include, the crowd as much as possible, the people, but also get close. I feel, and I mean, would you agree with this, that like even a person who doesn't know photography, they could still tell if a photo is taken from like a few feet away as opposed to like a telephoto, even if they're the same size in the frame. I feel like you just know.
Yep.
So, I try to be close to the action without, being seen, or at least, being seen as little as possible. I'm also really heavily influenced by like old school rock and roll photography. So my style, I don't know. I don't know if that explains my style much, but
That does. That definitely does. Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense. I like that. I like that. I like the description of, there's a human and there's a rock star. Like, I like that, whether the person or however you differentiate it. I like that thought process. It's
yeah.
I don't know. It's like,
I
go, Steve.
No, I was just going to say I do too. I'm curious when you say you're influenced by the classic rock photographers. Any specific ones? I mean, Bob Gruen obviously is there, and any others that Jim Marshall.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like like all those legends, but it's more of like what I think it has to do a lot with like even the people that were photographing, like like that classic shot of Keith Richards with like the Jack Daniels bottle, like getting out of the limo, getting onto like the plane.
Right.
I just it was more of like the era than like a specific photographer.
So it's just the vibe, the overall feeling of those images that they captured, like when
and those masters, those masters really captured the time. They really documented a lifestyle that in many ways doesn't exist.
Right. I know it's it's rare like you see like a band or an artist like traveling like between gigs, like, you know, how like Keith and Mick used to travel around, you know, like they look like they're going to stage, like in every photo from like the
They
70s,
don't
you know?
turn off. They're literally living,
Right.
breathing. They're like them. They are that
Yeah.
always. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a stage person. It's what you said, where you've got the human and you got the rock star. And for some people, that's a stage persona and then a personal persona.
Yeah.
But I have the feeling in those days, those big first rock stars were only the stage persona, no matter where they were.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what came first, stage or human, or I feel like I've definitely seen
Yeah.
people like identify what their stage persona is and then slowly just turn it into who they are. And it's crazy
Yeah.
to see people. I mean, they just do it over time. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think like rock and roll bands, I feel like now have more of a difference, and maybe like some pop stars, but maybe that's because like, you know, like, not to keep bringing up Rolling Stones, but like
No,
at
it's
that
fine.
time, like they were so massive, um, and then like always in the limelight. Where like if you are like the singer of like Arctic, he's like that guy could go to a lot of places without people
You
bugging
cut
him or
out when
having
you
his
said the
photo
name.
taken.
Who was it?
Arctic
Oh,
Monkeys.
Arctic Monkeys.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
And like he can go to a lot of places without anyone knowing who he is and all that,
Mhm.
you know. But like Ariana Grande can't. So like she kind of needs to like keep the Ariana Grande
Mhm.
like persona, because like, you know, if a paparazzi gets a photo of her and she's just like wearing some boring outfit and looks like a regular person, like that kind of
It
lowers
ruins
her.
everything they've been trying to build for so long. It's a very
Kind of.
It's a very
Yeah.
like what do you call it? Well, thought out, intentional branding process. It's not like
Right.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. Whereas you have the Steven Tylers of today, who it's not branding. That's him.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and the Mick Jagger and Rolling Stones analogies are perfect. If you've ever seen them live, there is a feeling on stage that this is not an act. This is just a guy who, this is literally what they were born to do,
hmm
as
Yeah.
opposed to they can sing and then they learned and became a performer.
Right. Yeah. 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 I mean, it's definitely. I mean, I've talked to a lot of like musicians about this, and like, yeah, I mean, you know, just because you could play your guitar well in your bedroom doesn't mean you know how to
Yeah.
stand in front of 80,000 people and like blow their minds and like be charming and have great stage banter, and then also be able to like, you know, do a meet and greet after, and then do an interview, and you know, like that.
Crazy.
I I've been to a lot of meet and greets and just general fan interaction, and you know, it's some people are better at it than others, but it's definitely like a skill, because usually fans are like freaked out, or you know,
Well,
they're
and
not
they've
carrying the
changed over the
conversation.
years. Like
Yeah.
meet and greets, when I first got into radio, and I'm old, when
Mhm.
I first got into radio, it was all industry people. There were no fans really back
Right. Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
So it was all radio people. You'd get your backstage pass and you'd go back and spend 45 minutes talking to Alabama, the band Alabama,
Of course,
because
yeah.
I had never heard of a chigger. I didn't know what a chigger was. Randy
Mhm.
on Alabama spent 45 minutes explaining a chigger. That's different than today, where you've got VIP sales and you've got meet and greet sales. It's a completely different vibe when I am at one now.
Mhm. Oh yeah. Well, because I mean, so I always wonder like what that does for the music industry as a whole. I mean, you know, some of these festivals, you know, it's sold out and filled to the brim, but then like this little pocket in the front is empty because it's VIP people,
Oh yeah.
and or people who spend a ton of money, and it's like it's not even close to enough to fill that section.
Right.
So you know, the band goes out there, and now all of a sudden they feel like they're playing at a corporate party, because like half the front row is empty and no one really knows their songs. And I mean, you know, that's a obviously that's not happening like at their own gig. That's a festival thing, but
It happens at
yeah,
festivals a lot.
yeah, and like VIP is nothing now, because now you need to be like super ultra VIP,
Right.
There's like 7
pioneer,
tiers.
founder, like, you know,
Yeah.
I like just times like they're like not letting me on stage. I'm like, I don't know how many more credentials I could possibly have. 9 bracelets on, the band laminate.
Yeah, I
don't know
got
what
them
else I need.
tattooed on my forehead just so you would
It's
know.
insane. It's insane. That's why I feel so bad for
I have
those
cheese
security
on my
guards
finger.
sometimes.
Yeah.
I got cheese on my finger.
Yeah.
Yo, I remember one time we were playing like a festival in it was like somewhere in the South, and it was with a day to remember. It's like super rock music, and they're like, "Yo,
Mhm.
just letting you know, these bike barricades aren't gonna hold you know, the bike barricades, not real barricades, like just the wall things they have.
Oh yeah.
They put the
Mhm.
VIP up front, but it was like 10% full, and then the rest of the crowd, it was like a section of the front was all around it, and as soon as the show started, it was chaos, and they're like, "We warned you," and I've just seen those setups where it's just like, and it kills it for the band. They come on stage, they're like, "Where are our fans?" They're like in back, you can't see them at
I
all.
know.
Yeah, but yeah, I vibe.
And but you know, somebody said in there that bands are more accessible now. I think that bands are more accessible now.
Josiah said that.
Oh, was it Josiah?
Yeah.
I think that they are more accessible now, but you still have this. There's still a barrier, I think, and I think it's good in many ways, between rock star and fan. It's kind of like when movies started playing on Netflix, you kind of lost that silver screen actor actress type feel. And I don't want that to happen in music.
I know. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want rock stars to still be bigger than life rock stars.
Yeah.
For many, many reasons, some of which are personal, some of which I think are societal, but I think it's important that they still be rock stars.
We're getting deep.
I mean, they're just, I mean, it's like, yeah, like, yes, they're accessible, like in a literal way to an extent, but also like, it's why like tabloids are dying, because like, it's not that interesting to like get a photo with a 300 millimeter from 2 blocks away when that person's going to post a selfie from their bathroom, like an hour earlier,
Yeah.
So, I think, just, yeah, the accessibility in that way, and being able to really follow along with people through their social media, like it takes a lot of the mystique out. And so, and a big part of being that sort of celebrity, and I use that in like an interesting way, not like a socialite way,
Right.
but to be like a celebrity in that way, a lot of it is about mystique.
Yeah, I vibe. That's what you don't show.
So, what's that?
That's what you don't show. Well, speaking of like people who are good at, like, I honestly think that the Killers, in my head, my feeling of them. Look, I'm not like, I don't follow the Killers. I'm not like a huge fan. I just know the band, and I have this image in my.
Man.
What's up?
That's messed up.
Well, I'm just trying to say I have like a general. I'm just saying I just have like a general feeling of them, and my feeling is that they're pretty. They stay out of. I don't know any bad press about them. I just know they're like a rock star band that almost everybody knows. Everybody's heard of them, and they've kind of achieved that status in current day and age, which is kind of hard. And Steve, why don't you bring up the image too while we keep talking?
Okay, let me do that. And by the way, really quick, you guys will know this. Bill Nash asked, how much latitude does a band have pushing back on the setup of where that VIP versus fans are?
It's all in the agreement.
Usually it's the venue that's setting it up.
Well, it's all done ahead of time. Like those things, especially at a festival, like you don't that stuff's all like, hey, we're gonna have a VIP place. You have to do a meet and greet with them. Like all those things are agreed upon ahead of time and then paid out. Like,
right.
You can't come to a venue and be like, get rid of that thing that 20 people agreed on.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, some of the bigger bands have a little more leeway. Not like, I mean, maybe they'll say, like, okay, like we can do like a meet and greet, but it's going to be, with 10 fans and not 20 or something, so like they can maybe have their hand in like the radio promo a little bit or things like that.
Yeah.
But generally, yeah, like everyone is just sort of at the mercy of the festival, through the promoter.
Yeah, it's more complicated than you think it is. That's probably, yeah. The bands can't yeah, that's fair.
People are in the chat are all talking about the fact that they love the Killers.
Yeah, me too.
So let's talk about this shot for a second, because you made some choices in this. First of all, as a raw, you captured it so spot on in camera, right? There is nothing in this. If anything in this was going to clip, it would have been the one white piece of paper right over the monitor.
Yeah.
And even that's not clipped. And yet, nothing is all clipped on the dark end either. There's really no shadows that are clipped either.
Yeah, you know what? When I decided this is the picture, then afterwards I was like, I should have looked at the raw file because I hope it's not trash.
Oh, you picked it off your processed shot?
Well, yeah, but the reason why was because see, I'm actually here to use you guys, because I felt like I never get this right, this edit. And so so now, well, or maybe I'm not using you. I'm using everyone who
The
participated to
collective
see.
hive
The
mind
collective
of the raw
mind, yeah.
editing challenge. Yes.
Yeah.
We are the Borg.
And so I mean, there are some awesome shots. I found myself gravitating towards like a one sort of similar style that a few people used. But yeah, in terms of so what's happening in this photo is so this is at Glastonbury Music Festival. There's approximately, I've heard different numbers, 100 to 150,000 people in the audience.
Not a big difference.
Yeah, no,
it's crazy.
Once you cross
it's crazy how they
100,000,
do that.
you're good.
Yeah,
I know. And so he was doing, Brandon Flowers, the singer here. He was doing this thing where he would put on a cowboy hat at one particular moment of the song "The Man."
Okay.
And this was created, and he did it for a few shows, but it was created for this actual moment. Actually, almost like pretty much this moment. This is the actual moment of why. Can you see that?
Oh yeah, we can see it. Oh, that looks insane.
Oh,
so
is that somewhere online? We can pull it up. Is it on your Instagram or anything? Like, because we'll have Connor throw it in the chat. You don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Go to robloud.com. It's like the first picture on like the main page.
On my way.
Oh yeah, and you can just pull it up anyway.
So basically, they rehearsed this
second from the top.
Picture.
Yeah.
They were rehearsing because they were going to rework a couple of songs. It was
that one?
Wow.
Yeah. And so that photo is like maybe 7 frames or so before, before the photo we're looking at. So he does the cowboy thing, and so I got way further out on stage, more so than I usually do, which is documented very clearly on the BBC feed. And
like, okay, hold on. When you say way farther out, were you in front of the drum riser visible?
No. I mean, I was visible. So they have so basically like 2 keyboard guitar sort of
platforms
worlds, and then the drum riser. So I was between the 2 risers, not out past the drums.
Okay. But you were in open space.
I was in open space. Sort of. I mean, like I still had, the riser was still next to me, so I wasn't extended past. But I knew the camera would be on him, and I knew I would be picked up by whether it was the side screens or the TV feed. But we talked about this shot. We talked about doing some variations of this shot. Our lighting director, Stephen Douglas, added a little more fill than usual to this moment. I mean, I was used to the confetti going off at this point, but this whole like looking to the side with the cowboy hat, he puts the hat on. It's a whole thing that was brand new. So, so the photo that we're going to do today was a couple after, which, to be honest, this was like, we were so pumped on this shot. I didn't really even think about that other shot until I saw it. It ran in a magazine. And I was like, oh, damn, that's actually kind of cool too. It's actually a cool thing going on. So it's funny. People don't really realize it's confetti. People are like, oh, the one with the pink trees. I'm like, right, okay. But I mean, I see what they mean, but
yeah, until you get close, it might look, I don't know. You never know with festival lights and setups. Yeah, that's.
And this, I mean, even compared to like some of the biggest festivals, like the crowd is so far away from him. I mean, and there's another little platform in the front of the stage. Like that's usually the very front of the stage. You could see like, in front of his like ankles, basically, there's another level of stage. And then there's like a pit in the middle where like I was in, and then like some of the camera crew were in. So then basically, that happened. And then he just sort of like kind of came off his platform thing here. And then that's when, this photo that we're going to work on today was created. Yeah. So,
I love it.
Before he was up on that platform.
So this is, in looking through your work, there's a couple of things I noticed. First of all, your balance. You have, in the one I just showed, amazing symmetry in the way he was framed, your crop on the shot, all of that. And it's here too. You've got the microphone stand, you've got him, you got the sign dead center in between, you get the leading lights from the truss coming down. When you're shooting, are you mostly focused on him, or are you equally focused on the scene as a whole?
Um, well, here I was mostly focused on don't blow this photo. This is like the one photo that has been asked of you. Like, let's nail this. Like, this is potentially our biggest show of the year, or in 5 years, or 10 years even. Um, like, let's nail this. So that was number one, and don't blow it out was number two. But like, yeah, I definitely take into consideration how I'm framing it. Like this situation again is sort of like what I was saying before. Is I want to include, it's about this guy, right? Like he's on the stage, he's got his cowboy hat, and it's just like this quiet moment. And so he's the person, he's a human. But then beyond that, you have all these people, you don't know what's going on. It's
Right.
like he seems completely like he's in another universe. So
Well,
so that's why I was shooting wide. And so, I don't know if I was necessarily trying to get all those elements you're talking, because he was moving. So I was just kind of tracking him. But, I just wanted to shoot wide, but also have him somewhat large in the frame still.
What you said earlier about, I want to capture the human side, I want to capture the rock star side. And the reason I love this picture is because you did exactly that. And they're clearly defined. Blue side of the frame is a guy walking with a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Right. Other side of the frame is the confetti or pink trees and the crowd. Right.
Yeah.
You've got complete independent stories in just those things. You could crop out the crowd and have a guy walking on a stage, and you could crop out him and have a crowd shot. So when you say this was the shot they wanted from you, for those people in the chat, I want them to kind of understand that. What did they come to you and say? Did they say, we want you to get him walking away from the platform? Did you know he was going to put his hand up? Did you want to capture that? Because, by the way, the hand up at the hat makes the shot to me.
Yeah.
And the foot off the ground, the back foot being off the ground.
Yeah. Just so this is
cheese curds.
We're going to hear the squeaky.
Squeak.
That's the word.
Where's
yeah,
the
we're going to hear the squeak. Yeah.
I muted myself. You can't hear me, right? All right. Yeah.
Didn't hear you. You must be muted.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Go ahead, Rob.
Smart. Yeah. So like this is, Brandon likes his fashion, which is funny because off stage he is like couldn't be any more of a t-shirt and jeans and baseball cap kind of guy. This was a custom suit, first time wearing it. These are the benefits of being like the tour photographer. So like I'm in the room when he's trying this on, and we're talking to the designer, and then we're thinking like, oh, well, like this suit or that suit, or like this, sort of silhouette of the pant or that one. And so this sort of reminds me of like a fashion sort of pose, where you really see the clothes and the hat. And I think that was important. So, to answer your question, they didn't really ask, but, we, like Brandon and I will send pictures back and forth to each other, like a lot of older photos of like just things we dig. And so sometimes I'll see something and I'll immediately think of him. It's like a Steve McQueen photo. Like he's sort of like the classic Americana kind of guy. So I feel like I have a pretty good read on like the things he likes. And so by now I just have like that in the back of my head to try to make like a classic image and not be too like trendy. So yeah, like capturing that movement is, so I used to shoot a lot of tennis, and that it's very difficult to photograph. It's moving, balls moving 140 miles an hour. Sometimes there's a lot of limbs and things happening. And so, but it's also a very beautiful game. And so I think that prepped me a lot for music photography, because like, this guy's moving in slow motion compared to like, Roger Federer in the US Open final. So I feel like time can slow down for me in a way, which just like sounds so cheesy, but
no, I know what you mean.
Feel like I can anticipate a little bit. And again, that, that comes with knowing the band, knowing the movements, knowing the song. But yeah, I'm trying to capture like that sort of movement and that pose and that silhouette. Just sort of telling a quiet moment story.
When you're editing, because there's something I noticed when we pulled up this shot.
Yeah. I don't know if it's my screen or
wait, Steve, can I jump before we go forward?
Go.
Steve, hold that because I don't want you to forget it. But I was just going to say, Rob, I think that it's what you're describing when you say you slow down time is like, that's why people need to, or I think people practice so much, is because you basically have set everything else on, on autopilot of being at the show. All these things that were at once probably very overwhelming and took your attention away, and all that's on autopilot, so you can just focus on doing exactly the thing you're doing. And I think that's cool. And I think in my head, that's what I associate slowing down time with. I might be wrong, but
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, and I think an important part too is knowing your camera.
yeah,
Um,
that's right.
and so those things are second nature to you, so you can only focus on
You're one.
the goal, or but yeah.
So this shot here, which is already processed, and we're going to watch you process the other one. But again, as I look through your portfolio, I see stuff like I see in this shot, which is there's a detail that you get out of clothes that I see people do these global processing where they end up with very nice pictures and everything. And then I see stuff like this where the texture that's in the top shoulder blades of that suit and just the sheen that's on the fabric of the suit is, most people can't get that out of a picture. They can process, get all the color, but that sheen, that almost three-dimensional feel of fabric you get. How?
I have no idea. I mean,
You don't know
if
the
you're
science?
talking, if I use it's called the Sheen filter. It's,
The Sheen filter. Oh
yeah. I don't know. You may not be on your version of Lightroom, but
yeah,
it's pretty new. I mean, honestly, I think if you're talking more like killer stuff, I mean, a lot of it has to just do with the clothes that they're wearing. Like they're wearing some like pretty badass kind of custom rock and roll clothes. Even when it's like a suit.
which helps.
Like Ray Brown, who makes a lot of Brandon suits. He makes a lot of the band suits. He's like that's his thing. He designs clothing for rock and roll people. Either like wealthy people who want to dress like rock stars but maybe shouldn't, or actual rock stars. That's his like thing. And so like these kinds of jackets, he loves these details, like these sort of Western details. He's a Brit, but he definitely like is inspired by like the Western look.
It's a good vibe. It looks awesome.
It's the lighting is great.
Yeah.
Do you talk to your lighting director at all?
Mm-hmm.
He said they did more fill light for this or something like that.
Yeah, and I didn't know that that he was going to do that. I mean, he's an impressive lighting director. He's worked for a lot of people. He actually met the Killers like in like a little venue in Dublin, years like however long ago.
20 years ago.
And they took him with them basically. But just him understanding what was happening and him knowing. I mean, we always have a running joke of I try like if he could see me on stage, because I know like he would notice me more than anyone. Like he's the one I'm trying to hide from the most.
Yeah.
But sometimes and he obviously knows this, but like the guys in the band are like, just get close. Like I mean, I am hanging on the back of Ronnie, the drummer's drum riser. He has a gong, so I have like some pretty solid protection like from the camera and from his drumsticks. I can kind of like just peek through like the little area of the gong and the bracket. But we definitely talk about things. Sometimes like he'll ask me about a photo and say like, oh, like I don't really use this color light, and then I see in your photo it looks more like this, and like I'll just kind of like run down like either why I edited it that way or what was going on in that picture. So I don't really have to like
I love
tell
that.
him things because I mean he's really good, so I just
he wants his colors that he chose for the show to be accurate. That's nice.
Right. Like an example of that is I don't know, I feel like it's like festivals where we don't have like our full rig and the spotlight will look maybe like a little green, so I'll like selective adjust like the green, and then I'll maybe pull out like some green from like the overhead light. And so it's like I kind of have to decide like, well, do I want like the spotlight, which is going to be like lighting the skin tone to be more proper or look cleaner or whiter, or do I want like this green light that's off in the corner to look accurate? So
right. Interesting. I'm dying to see edit this, but I got to tell you, I love, as soon as Adam showed me this shot, was like, oh, this is going to be fun.
Awesome.
Because you captured that that duality of guy walking, cool suit, obviously rock star, and at the same time human.
Yeah.
Really well done.
Yeah. Thank you. I will say though, I mean, in terms of editing, I don't do much.
I'm excited
I
to
fly
see your lack of doing.
I fly through the edit. We have I don't know if you know this, but the killers don't allow photographers really
Mm-hmm.
at shows. So I'm usually solo in the photo pit.
You got room?
I have a lot of room.
Yeah.
Yes. It's rare. Like sometimes they'll have relationships with people, like, of course, or even like, production companies, something like, of course, they'll give them access. But, so we have to turn these photos around for the venues and the promoters, like, very quickly.
So you do your own. You do the
So,
press for the band, basically. Like you provide all the shots that maybe Getty or the local photographer would do to those people.
yeah. Yeah. So I go from, immediately run. I'll sometimes do like a dump some cards like during the show just to kind of get a little ahead of the game. But I am going straight to the computer and immediately trying to identify like my top like 200 pictures maybe, and then
Oh
from
my God.
there,
Oh, cut it down.
yeah, no. Well, so and then from there, kind of like we'll separate it a little bit, but then I'll sit down with the band, and then they kind of pick their favorites, and they actually do that in the raw stage, which I feel like some photographers would not love. I think I think they understand. They have a pretty good understanding of what where the photo can go and what I can do with it.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as they like themselves and the vibe and stuff, then it's like if it passes that test, then they're gonna love it when it's edited. That's sort of what I think.
They're basically doing like a composition test, or like they're doing like, do I look good? Is this something we want going out? And then we'll rely on Rob to make sure that it looks, up to par with the images released and stuff like that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, Odin Imaging said, when you get raws like this, you don't need much editing, which is so true, and that's just from years and years of shooting under fire. But
you want to share your screen, Rob?
Yeah, let's have him pull his up and see what he does.
And I was going to say, Rob, we had somebody on here like 2 weeks ago, my friend Carlos, and he is not a photographer by career, but he does tour with bands. He does merch and he shoots a lot. And he pulled up Visco and threw a filter on it, and that was his editing.
No,
it was awesome. I was like, never had anybody do that. Just max that.
Okay.
And then, we've got you.
Okay.
Basically,
so
let me make sure it's lined up here. Do you need your presets on screen or no?
No.
Okay, cool. They're off the screen, but everything else should be on screen. All right, you're good.
Okay. So this show being like so big, and the Killers are exceptionally big in the UK, and there was a lot of other band people and just a lot of industry sort of backstagey kind of things happening. So I'm editing this standing up on a road case. There's probably 50 to 100 people backstage. And it's a lot of madness, and I'm just trying to get these photos out. People are always looking over my shoulder. So my adrenaline is pumping. So like to look at this here in my, at my desk compared to that situation is so drastically different.
Mm-hmm.
Some of I learned a lot from the edits people made, which was very cool.
That is
it was
really
cool to see like the. Yeah, I mean, this is why I was like so stoked to do this.
It's cool to hear that come from you. I know it's such an easy thing for you to say, but like people in chat or people who did this know that like this photographer looked at all your edits and learned from you, and that's kind of our whole vibe here. Is like there's no ego here. Like he is a professional photographer that's been doing this for a long time, and some people here might have been doing it for a short time, and I think that's so cool. So thanks for saying that, and thanks for participating.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, like my main takeaway was. Someone said, like I didn't realize that this was going to be like hard, and then also commented about because it does sort of look straightforward, and like I always had a hard time editing because like you have two colors that are like pretty different ends of the spectrum, somewhat with like this pink and the blue, But then that same person commented about his hand, which I never ever noticed this freaking neon purple hands. And now I'm just like, my God, it's the only thing I can see. So I'm obviously gonna have to
Now we're
touch
all
that
gonna
up
see it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and that was in the green room before we went live. You had told us that. You didn't have to say it now.
Look, I'm just trying. Like, the thing is the quicker I understood and was comfortable with knowing that most people at any level in any profession actually, like, they still feel like they have no idea what they're doing. I feel like I
Right.
have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, and so, like, if you could sit with that and accept that, and then, like, still be willing to learn from other people, like, it's a powerful thing. And instead of being like,
Well,
no idea,
once you feel like
all
these
us
edits are like,
creatives
okay.
question ourselves daily.
once you feel
know,
like
for
you
sure.
Every
yeah.
creative does that.
Once you
Yeah,
feel like
right.
you know everything, you're gonna stop learning, and then
Right.
what's the point?
Okay, so when I'm editing, yeah, like my first sort of baseline is I'll try to grab, like, just a simple color balance. So, like, I know that this is gray normally here, or like that this is sort of black. So I we'll just kind of look to see. And so, like, to me,
Why
like, that
wouldn't you
looks,
use the white paper out of curiosity?
well, this looks blown out to me.
Yeah, super bright. Yeah, look, Steve, it says it can't. Oh, that one works. The other one can't.
That's
Yeah.
what I was, or the one under his
Wow.
knee.
There's so much color in this image once you get rid of
I know, it's
the
amazing.
purple wash.
I know. The hat is an off-white.
Okay.
So again, like, I know that, so I'll just kind of take, like, some baselines off of, like, the neutral colors, just to see what I like. So I don't even know if this is going to come close to, like, how I actually, like, ended up, like, editing it or sending it. So that picture I showed you before with the confetti where he's, like, central, or
Yeah.
centered, I gave a horrible edit the first time in. And of course, that's the photo that, like, some publications have and that's still used constantly. But it's not that it's drastically different, but it's different, and it kills me when I see it. Okay, so I don't really have to do all that much, or at least for, like, where or what I did with the original. So I'll
Oh wait.
or
There we go. Audio went out for a second. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know if it was just me.
okay.
You're good.
Like, I'll kind of overdo, like, the highlights, and I'll overdo the shadows. I'll kind of overdo everything and then kind of, like, bring it back. So, okay, I have a confession. I use Clarity a little bit.
It's okay. Clarity's a great tool.
I use it, with a lot of discretion. But, like, I mean, just even like like +10, like, I mean, that's so you're talking about texture on the clothes.
I
it's
use
definitely,
clarity all the time, so
yeah.
I'm happy.
So, and at the time, I don't think texture was a thing yet. So I probably was at clarity about there. Dehaze is also a thing where it could be awful. It can be awful a lot, but sometimes it can kind of be good,
Dude,
especially
it's
when
such
you
a
just,
good tool. Now it's
a
insane.
great tool if you understand how to.
It's,
It'll muddy up your darks, but if you understand how to bring those back, it can be really handy.
yeah, and if you, especially if your darks can't even be muddy. I mean, sometimes they'll create, like, weird vignetting and stuff. So, like, you got
Right.
to really be careful with that. But the thing I always, like, had a little bit of a hard time with were this sort of, like, hazy blue. It always, like, looked like, even out of camera, that it was, like, somewhat poorly edited. I don't know if it's just because of him adding, like, the more fill, and that it kind of threw off, like, the sort of normal balance. But yeah, so I'm really mostly sticking with these basics. Like, I mean, all right, so for the hands, I mean, my guess is I'm going to probably try to sort of somewhat mess with this, the saturation, and try to identify exactly what color that is.
Purple.
Let's see if it messes. Yeah, right. So yeah, I mean, some people did a really great job with. Also, I remember with the color balance too, like, you could see in his face, there's some weird highlights going on there. So I remember that being a little bit of a challenge. But yeah, so I would probably then take it a step further with the adjustment brush, and maybe try to pull down some of the saturation, but I mean, this can go gray real quick on you. I mean, it's already starting to look better, but I mean, I didn't edit this the first time around, so I don't know how much time I should spend on it.
And it's
To
important.
me,
I was gonna say it's important to note that like the reason, or I'm assuming the reason you're doing this is because you're on a time crunch. You can't make this into a portfolio image. You just have to flip these. So you have to do
Right.
basic
Right.
over the whole photo adjustments, and that's why it's nice to take a second look. So it's cool.
Well, and now that you have localized white balance in a brush, that
Mhm.
actually can be handy.
Oh yeah, for sure. So it's just interesting that it was so purple because the suit color kind of stays somewhat consistent.
I
You
love
know
how
what I
much
mean?
it throws you off. You're like, and the hand.
I know it's like
Just
enough for
burn
the
it.
hand already,
Just
dude.
burn it. That's what Steve does.
You know what I'll just do? I'll just do this. Get out of here. There we go. That's the photo. That's the photo now. No hands.
We're good. Mic
yeah.
drop.
Also, a thing. So all right. So Getty back in the day, if the horizon line wasn't perfectly straight, if I mean, if I like clipped his shoe, maybe like the photo is garbage. It doesn't matter if it's the greatest photo of the greatest moment in the history of the world, will be deleted. Now I like just don't care. It's like, how does the photo make you feel? Is it, and like I mean, I shoot so much more with like slow shutter speed or even just trying like multiple exposures or like racking the focal length. It just like you have a luxury of being a tour photographer that like you could mess with moments, and so you could take big risks. So I think that's part of it. So here the horizon is a touch off. I don't recall if I fixed it or not, but it doesn't really bother me if it. I mean, it almost. I mean, I know why it's naturally tilted that way. Is because
I'm
I'm
looking at the
panning with it.
original on your website, and it was not straightened on your website.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think so because I mean, to me, I feel like that adds to the movement. I know. I remember like all this tennis I used to shoot. If I was on a monopod and a guy was flying across to the right, my photos would always be off like that. And it's the same idea here. But in terms of the edit, I mean that's kind of it. I actually don't really mess with tone curves too often unless it's like a photo that really is like out of balance, and I feel like I really need to hone in on stuff that I'm not accomplishing. In the sort of basic. The basic options. Um, Vibrance and saturation, I will sometimes kind of just play with them and see like what's happening with them. I feel like I pull the vibrance down more and kind of usually keep saturation. I feel like that's probably around where it was. Maybe a little more contrast.
Yeah, that's the main difference. You've got the colors about because, like I said, I'm looking at the one on your site. Just a little more contrasty is what you've got right now.
What do you?
Okay, yeah.
Rob, when you're editing these photos, like, is it the same for every artist, or like, is it because it's the killers and like, obviously the look with a turned up clarity slider and stuff that looks really unrealistic just wouldn't really work for them because, like you said, you're going for that, whether you like those old rock star photos, they have like almost a very natural. You want it to look almost photojournalism, like hey, I was here in a really cool spot, but then you don't want it to look unrealistic. Is that you taking the artist's brand into consideration, or is it yours, or is it combination? What's the thought process there?
I think if I think it enhances the story of the band, like there's a band called White Reaper that I tour with sometimes. They play in smaller clubs, more, like power punk, not power punk, but like power chordy kind of rock and roll band. Like I shoot them like just more gritty and raw. Like it just because it's what that music makes me feel.
Yeah, you're shooting your emotions.
Yeah. So like, especially if like I'm in like a hot, sweaty club and stuff, like I'm not trying to get like this nice silhouette of his pants. Like I'm trying to, I want like to see like people to be like screaming and see their veins sticking out of their necks when they're singing and like sweating and like, so.
I respect that so much. I think it's cool when people don't go into a place and say, I want to do this thing. They go in and say, what am I shooting? What are the tools I have? And then create a feel based on, like, you are communicating with the environment. You're not like bringing your own whatever I'm going to shoot like you would have to do for Getty, right? When you had to shoot for Getty, you had to go in and shoot a certain way.
Yeah. I mean, I do think, I did take some good habits from my Getty days.
Mhm.
And part of that is, having a pretty kind of staying true to like this sort of like AP style of like, like minimal editing,
Right.
never like editing anything out, which I will edit some things out occasionally, but it's pretty rare. So, that kind of stuck with me as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm trying to document it, in whatever way I see fit, and it changes every time. Like sometimes I'm really approaching it like from like a fashion photographer, and sometimes it's like I'm, like a war photographer,
I'll tell you, I've got your portfolio up in front of me. You've got some shots in here that are just the one where he's in the metallic, almost looking suit with the backlight.
Well, wait a second. Rob, are we editing anymore or are we done? Because Steve, you can share it if you want.
I mean, yeah, probably not. I mean, I
Steve will share it after. Steve will share it afterwards because we want to see that, Steve. And Rob, you can keep editing if you want.
No, I mean, honestly, like I probably would continue. If we're talking like day of show, this is like this is pretty much what I would do.
You'd stop here.
I think so. I can't say I've ever like done a kind of trendy edit, even though like sometimes it looks awesome and some people are so good at like whatever it is in the moment. It's very rare I go back and I'm like, oh yeah, that was the right decision there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can always see it differently.
Yeah, so I tend to try to keep it straight and play it straight. I find that it kind of stands the test of time for me better when I do that. I got a load of presets, like store bought presets that like I occasionally will use more as like a reference to see like how I like something, or maybe be like, oh, like, whoa, like I didn't even think that photo could do that.
Yeah, I love that. That's so great.
But generally my presets, I'll have a couple going that like I'm into like in that moment. A couple like very like straightforward black and white presets, which a lot of black and white submissions. Which
there were.
like,
and it's interesting also, by the way, in your work in general, you don't seem to do a lot of black and white, but when you do, it's powerful.
Thank you.
What would like somebody commented, I think it was Bill commented in the chat that this shot would look good black and white. For you as an artist, what's your deciding factor aside from the traditional, okay, I can't save these colors, I'm going black and white. What's your artistic reasoning behind saying I want this shot in black and white?
Yeah, I mean, like, what you said is definitely like the main reason when the light just looks awful.
Yeah.
But I think when the colors don't really contribute anything, and I want people to maybe be a little more zoned in on something, whether it's like an emotion or the person or their expression, and I don't want I don't want anything to sort of distract them. So if eliminating color is like one step closer to that, that's sort of where my head is, I think.
Love that thought process. That's great.
It's usually like not even a thought. It's just like that should be black and white, and that
it's a feeling from within.
Yeah.
Well, because you remove the color, you remove a little bit of realism, and then you're down to geometry and shapes and feeling and emotion.
I like all those things.
Yeah, those are good things, especially in photography.
Also, Thomas Falcone is in chat, and he is a good friend of mine, and actually the one who suggested you for this. So I don't know if you guys have connected yet, but he's a good guy. He's also New York.
Hey, Thomas.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know his work. We've never met though.
Okay, well, hang out. He lives somewhere in New York.
Okay, cool.
Or probably in the same building as you.
Yeah, 6 feet away.
He's next door, actually.
Oh, cool, nice.
Yeah.
Is he in Brooklyn? Do you know? I don't know if you want to.
He's in the chat. That. He's in the chat. So if he wants to tell you, I have his exact address, social security number, and everything else. So if you want it,
please, Well, I'll share the visa folder for the band and crew.
Oh yeah, your travel folder.
Yeah, and then you could share. Yeah.
Yes, awesome.
So you want to look through some of the submissions?
Yeah, let's look at some of them. But
Sure,
hey,
yeah,
Steve,
yeah.
show us that photo you're talking about from his website that you
Okay.
really liked. So
Oh, yeah.
You
check
want
it
to
out.
stop sharing your screen really quick?
Sure, yeah.
Thank you for doing the edit.
Sure, yeah. And I mean, like I said, I think like my approach and my thought process while shooting is my strength, not necessarily my edits.
I mean, I think I don't know. I think it's good. I think it's great all around. Like I like that. I like that you get it out of camera so close. And
Well, and I think the edits play a role. The fact that the edits may be minimal,
it's still nice.
is not a negative. It's not
yeah.
a positive necessarily either. It's just part of you. It's part of your vision.
Yeah, I like
when
it.
when you capture, like, this is the black and white one I was thinking of when I said,
Yeah.
when
Oh,
you
wow,
go
beautiful.
black and white,
Beautiful.
you just go power. That I love this. The empty space, but the confetti is just awesome. But this is the shot that I was talking about. Where'd it go?
Oh wow, that's so
yeah.
cool. That would look crazy in black and white too. Oh my god.
My
I love
God,
the yellow.
man.
I love the yellow.
He so that is if you go back to the thumbnails, so that suit, he actually so in 1, 2, 3, 4 first.
And by the
first
way,
column.
I'm assuming this was the same scene.
Nope. Because look what
Don't
the
assume,
spotlights are.
Steve.
No, but I mean, he's doing the exact same move.
Oh,
This is
yeah,
a
yeah,
totally
yeah.
different part of the show.
Different show, same song.
Different
Okay.
song, same moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's
So-
wait, he was trying to tell you to go to a certain photo. Which one
Yeah,
is
which
it?
one?
Yeah. So the one where he's wearing a mask in the first column, the fourth one down. Yeah. So that's the gold suit, and so he would change into
Wow.
that suit for the encore. So he would run off stage, and so like this. I mean, I was more showing you like the gold suit, but this picture is being lit. If you look at the catch lights, with 2 iPhones and a flashlight, and that is on the side of the stage. 3 seconds later, he's back on stage.
That's cool.
He was in
That's
a quick
cool.
change, ripping
And
his
he
like sweaty
stopped for
clothes
you to
off.
shoot him.
Yeah, I mean, I was
For
in
3
like a little
seconds.
quick change thing. Yeah, and so we that mask came from like a birthday party the night before, and we brought it to stage like to try to do this because we were in
Wow.
Mexico.
Just
Doing
so-
it live. We're doing it live.
We're doing it live. So he
freaking
put that
good.
gold suit on most nights just for the encore. It was sort of there was a
Love it.
Robert Duvall movie, The Preacher, maybe, that he was like kind of referencing with that suit. I forget what the movie was called, but Robert Duvall.
I love Duvall.
Like a preacher, and he's like, "Where's this like gold shiny suit?" The guy who made Elvis's suits made that suit.
Look at
gold
the
one.
symmetry that you get, though.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
it is just absolutely crazy. Some of the shots that you've got. So let's jump
man.
to some people's images here.
Yeah, and I just want to say, Steve, before we go into these, so we're using the hashtag Rotting Challenge on Twitter and Instagram, and I appreciate everybody who posts to their story and doesn't post to Instagram. However, there's no way for me to show them on here. Obviously, they disappear, but I do see them personally. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for contributing, and I apologize for not being able to give you some highlights here, but I can't just screenshot every story. But Rob,
yeah, I try to share a lot of them.
Thanks for
as
doing
well,
that.
But then yeah, I mean, at some point too, like I'd be like, oh, I like that one, but like, I don't know if I can post like the 15th one. Like, I need to have a little respect for like some people who like could care less about like this specific thing.
Yo, overall, what'd you know? Like I will go through and we'll pick favorites, but overall, what are some things or some takeaways you had from this? Great shot, by the way, here.
Yeah, I think like this this looks like merch,
Yeah,
almost. I did like this one.
Tyler.
I think I still think I like color better.
Yeah.
But I mean, the black and whites look awesome, but I just love the blue and the pink. And like Steve, I never thought of it like what you said, and like that's it's funny sometimes how just something kind of comes together. And I'm not going to try to take credit for it, but yeah, like the pink sort of in the crowd really seemed to separate, and I think that's what I always liked, and I never really just thought of it in that way.
Steve,
Yeah.
Steve, I would say definitely zoom in more because right now we're pretty small just because of how the setup. Yes, zoom in like this while we scroll down would be great. And I know when you
do this.
Does that
I'm
work?
gonna Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Hold on 1 second here. Let me just do.
You can unshare your screen too if you need to.
That's all right. I'm just gonna change it.
We're
really
doing it
quick
live.
To.
Sorry to cut you off there, Rob. I just want to make sure that the.
Oh, no.
1920.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure we got the visuals.
There we go. All right. So this will be better. See if that's better. Is that better for you?
I mean, yeah. Right now it's just like right. The more you zoom in, the better. Just like if it's one photo on the screen at a time, it's cool. Or you can click them and just go.
Well,
that
that's
way.
what I'm gonna do. I'm zooming like this. I'm
Okay,
scrolling like
perfect.
this, and then I'm gonna click them and do.
You
that.
got it on lock. I should trust you from the get go. I apologize. Let's keep rolling.
So, this one, this is an interesting one to me. They got the gray on the box down below, on the monitor enclosure, but the processing on this lost what I think made the shot. Even though I like the way they did this, it lost the blue and pink separation of.
Yeah.
You've got a crowd over here in this, and that's what I would say is make sure that you understand what story a picture is trying to tell.
Yeah.
Anytime you're gonna edit, here's a black and white one.
Mm-hmm.
The horizon was difficult with this. I saw people struggling.
Yeah, for
Yes.
sure. I mean, guess like working off mic stands, like if that's like your like the main thing in the picture that like you're gonna work off of, it's hard because like you really can't see any kind of horizon, so you're just sort of working with the mic stand. What was I gonna say? I like that. I remember liking this one. That yeah, I mean, it's just like because that was another thing. Like I could have definitely desaturated it more.
Steve, I think latest you got to go down a little lower. There you go.
Yeah, I'm going to right here.
Okay, cool.
This was an interesting treatment right here.
I like that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I really
like
dig this. It fits his outfit, everything.
Yeah. So I mean, and this is just, it's so interesting. Like our context of when we take a photo, like we know everything that went into it. We know everything that's happening. Like we're telling it in like a certain way. And now this is just an example of someone putting a different spin on it. And it's like, yeah, it's a cool edit. And like, he looks cool. And
there's one thing I wish was in this edit though. And that is, I kind of wish he had room to walk into on the right.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's almost a portrait. Yeah. It's almost right. Like I don't know. It's kind of cool, but I agree.
No.
Yeah.
No, but the toning, I love the toning in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it makes it feel like kind of Western,
Yeah,
exactly.
I like the shadow, how it covers Brandon's eye. I think that's a really cool part about it. Like, I like the lighting and how it's got this, like, it looks like how you see a cowboy, shade on the face and then the jawline and then a super nice suit. It's cool.
Yeah. I like this one too.
There's something.
I saw some people trying to clone out some of the mic cable and also like the
They're
papers.
Getting freaky with it.
Yeah.
That mic is literally partially cloned.
Oh wow! Actually, I didn't even know. I was looking at the cord, like on the floor, by his feet. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, there's no mic. Yeah. So obviously, be careful of that because I love the toning.
They're getting freaky with it. No.
Yeah, I mean, you have to remember, like, not you guys, but like
a general you.
Yeah, like the royal you. Like, I mean,
the royal.
If you it's one thing when you look at a photo, okay, like look at it like on this size compared to this, it's very different.
Yeah.
So if you
in real life on a screen, super different also.
Or just on the computer screen. So like if you are being sloppy with a clone or something, like it's gonna be noticed eventually, and you don't want that. So if I do take something out, I'm like gotta be certain that I cannot see any trace of whatever I took out,
Yeah,
usually I don't have that luxury.
If you can see your Photoshop work, something went wrong.
Oh yeah.
You shouldn't be able to see the Photoshop
it's
work.
It's distracting.
And there's no substitute for just zooming way the hell in.
Yeah, I know. And I think a lot of people this I like, but the only thing was that little spot on his mouth that I didn't like. I think if you eliminated that, I would be way more into it because it just makes him look like a different person in a way.
Who shot that photo? Good job. Or not who shot. We know who shot it. But
we saw that one. This was interesting.
They're getting freaky.
It's a posterized look, kind of freaky.
Yeah.
Not sure what the goal was on that one.
They found the
but I loved
other
it.
end of the spectrum for editing.
Yeah.
You have
I
Rob
love-
on
hey,
one
you're
end, and
pushing
they
the
found the
limits.
other side. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
it.
This is a really tasteful black and white.
Yeah, I like that, and I like that they, they went a little wider
I
with it.
love that crop.
Yeah.
Cinematic.
Yeah.
I love the
Ooh.
crop.
Super cinematic. I know. Like, I
Christian.
feel like whoever did that, like, is
Well,
definitely a DP.
I can picture that as a magazine spread.
Right. Yeah.
And
Mhm.
and that's the other thing is this shot has tons of space for copy. So if you're dealing with a copy editor that says, well, I need to put an article title here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is Christian.
That's-
They are often in chat. Very good person.
Yeah. I do shoot like that sometimes with that in mind, knowing that, it could potentially be a spread. If it's, pushed to one side or the other with some negative space. Especially since, we have the ability to crop in like pretty tight now. So like, I'll shoot a little looser at times, knowing that I could always, sort of recompose the photo later. But like if it may get in a magazine because they have the room on one side to like have an article or a headline or something.
What body do you shoot?
Nikon. That was a Nikon D4S. So
Okay.
usually I have a Nikon D4 and a Nikon D4S, 24-70, 70-200. That's like 95% of my concert work. And then I have a Fuji X-T2 and like film cameras that I use like kind of for off camera, like walking around kind of cameras.
Not getting the one shot that needs you to get that night and turn in right away.
And
Right,
this
yeah.
must have been brighter than it feels because I was looking at the EXIF data in this RAW. This
Yeah.
was ISO 500.
Right. Yep.
24 millimeters, f3.5 at 1/320th. That's a bright
Yeah.
stage.
Dude, super bright. I
That's
mean,
like Kiss bright.
I've never shot Kiss, but I know, I understand that reference well. I remember thinking like when you start shooting, I'm like, and it was still like, it was just like mid-June, so it's like the longest days of the year, and I'm like, God, it was like the lights from the stage were like overpowering, like the light that was happening, from the sun, and just thinking like, my God, like it's rare. I mean, I'm usually more at like 1600 f4, 400 of a second or something. Like it's sort of like a good starting point for them. So to be at 500, but I was definitely pleasantly happy about it because then I knew it's going to give me a lot of leeway later in the edit. So yeah, I probably just put it at 500 and then figured I would just kind of play it by ear from there because that's an explosive, literally moment, and like the lights come on and all these things are happening, so you can't really pre-light that. You just kind of have to hope.
As we're starting to get questions here in the chat, I'm curious because obviously you don't shoot only the Killers.
Yeah.
Who's the hardest band you've ever shot live?
Probably
or
Beyonce.
Artist, band, artist, whatever.
Beyonce, but I mean, well, it depends. So because of my limitations or because the person is just like a horrible
Your
person
choice.
to shoot. I mean, I would say I don't want to throw anyone under the bus. I can't even really think of anyone, but I'm totally happy with disclosing some of the more ridiculous things we've had to do to shoot. And so, like, for example, Beyonce, I was like the house photographer at this festival. This was before, like, do you know, like, when
the Super Bowl story?
Yes. So this is before that. And so I got 50 seconds to shoot her from the front of house.
Not a minute.
I mean, what?
20 of which is completely in the dark with like the waterfall sparkle kind of thing. And then she walks down these steps and it starts raining like right before the set. And so everyone's got their umbrellas up now. So I can't even get a clean, I have a 300 lens on. I can't even get a clean photo of her, a full length. And that's the only thing I can get at that distance. So that was kind of frustrating. Those photos are just bad.
Hey, do your job, but we're not going to let you.
Exactly right.
Well,
yeah.
and
figure it out.
OCD in me says, please just make it an even 60 seconds. Come on.
I know. Yeah, I don't know why the 5-0.
So weird.
That's for
let's
stories.
see. We've got
Sven. You go for it, Steve.
Sven J.
You got there.
How did you get started shooting the Killers?
So by the time I was done with, by the time I them. I was done with Getty for a while. I was doing more commercial work, but I still love shooting music, and so I shot this festival in Canada every year called Pemberton, that is now defunct. But I was like there, one of 4 festival photographers, and they allowed me to shoot the set. They don't normally allow photographers, and just I got to flip through the photos with them afterwards. And so there I was with my laptop on an ironing board with Brandon Flowers flipping through my photos, and him starting to kind of ask a couple of questions. He thought I was like a local guy because we were in the middle of nowhere, British Columbia. And I told him I was a New York guy. They were playing there the next weekend, and he basically asked if I wanted to come to those shows as more or less a tryout, because they were normally traveling with someone and they weren't anymore. So
That's awesome. What a great story.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was pretty wild. But I mean, not without the help of like the kind of crew chief who was running my memory cards, and then like we had an amazing editor who's also like happens to now be like Odessa's photographer, and like Steve Aoki, Julian Bazile. I know Julian, if you're listening, I messed up your last name, but no one knows how to say it.
What's awesome. Their name?
His last name is Bjasel. Is that right?
What's their first name?
No, Julian.
Julian. Okay.
Oh my God, now I'm forgetting how to. Bjasel. But yeah, mostly known. Bajsel.
Connor, can you find him?
He's mostly most known for, I would say, his EDM work, and specifically Odessa, who have like the most insane production. But so he was editing the photos on the fly. So by the time they stepped off stage, like we had a laptop of like the top 50 photos ready to go, edited in a great way. And so, yeah, right place at the right time. But I was at that festival to meet people, to put myself in that position. I mean, I didn't expect it was going to turn to this. Like I turned down Pearl Jam to shoot The Killers. I had a friend who was supposed to shoot The Killers. We traded. So,
why? What was your thought process of I want The Killers, I don't want Pearl Jam?
I've shot Pearl Jam before. Didn't normally give you 2 songs. Often it could be like not the best lit or like a slower, lower energy show. And, usually you don't get access to The Killers. We're getting the whole show and a couple songs from stage. So I was like, it's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah,
and I like the band. And so, it kind of worked out for me.
Christian asks, how do you select a photo that you're going to print?
I don't know. I think it's got to, you got to play around, I think. And some photos work better small on a screen.
Printing is not reflective ink is not the same as backlit screen.
Right. Yeah. And just looking at it large. And so, I don't really know. I think it needs to be kind of an epic photo, like an epic feeling photo, not like epic, like this is the greatest photo, but just like, I think that helps. I think I feel like close-ups don't really, well, that's not true actually. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. It's just a feel thing, I feel like.
Yeah. And you got to printing is such a
tedious.
Different world. It's tedious to do it right. You end up sometimes printing the same image 3 times because, the blacks got blocked up. Bill Nash asked, how does your relationship with the band evolve? You're in a position to capture personality and intimate moments. Does it ever get adversarial?
What's the last word mean? I don't know what that means.
Confrontational.
Okay. Thank you.
Where you confrontational probably isn't even the right word, but adversarial, where you are adversaries, you're trying to get different things than what the band does, and you've got to try and convince them or them convince you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to remember that you're working for them. So in a way, you become so close to these people because you're with them all the time, but like also they're your employer. So you have to continue to be respectful. Sometimes it's rare that like we have a difference of opinion on like a photo where it's like, I love this photo and I want it to be in the world. And they're like, absolutely no. It's rare that we've had those moments. I can't say that there's anywhere I'm like really like dying inside that the photo isn't out in the world. I don't think there's any photos like that. I've definitely fought for some and I've gotten my way. But even those were like nothing that like would have been life-changing.
Right.
So, I mean, I mean, I don't know. There's nothing I can think of where it becomes like confrontational or anything like that.
We need to take this. No. All right.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
All right. Never mind.
L Pop wants to know who's your favorite band.
E How Pop. That's Evan. That's my friend.
E How Pop. Okay,
Yeah.
Evan. Who is your favorite band you've covered in your early years and why?
Oh.
Understand whatever bands you don't say will hear that you didn't mention them.
Of course. Well, listen, I've only been touring with bands for what, 3 years or three?
Well,
what
not
year is it?
necessarily
Almost 4 years.
touring, even just
So-
shooting from the pit as press or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it was sort of exciting to see some bands like the Black Keys, or bands that were smaller that like I maybe listened to that then like found a lot of success and have become arena rock stars. I mean, New York gets so, and that was the beauty of like with Getty, like there's so many shows that come through New York, and so the array of shows that I would shoot, like, I mean, I have like shots of like Bieber with like a broken leg playing like not even like the big Jingle Ball, which is like like the New York radio
Right.
Mhm.
pop show, doing like the warm up one, so that was kind of and Rihanna, actually, that was the same show. I shot Rihanna multiple times that week, and she remembered me. She doesn't remember me anymore. I can confirm that. But
Still.
so yeah, some
No.
of those where I've sort of have seen them go on to like bigger and greater things. It was kind of fun in hindsight.
Connor,
Not a good answer.
Armand
I
had
like
a
that
good
question.
He wants to know, during COVID quarantine, what have you done to prep yourself for going back to work once everything is opened back up? Lasagna. We know
It's
about
gonna-
the lasagna.
It's gonna be a while.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'll keep it real with you. Not much. You know how I've been prepping. This is not going to be like the fun answer, but looking into new avenues to make money and to like push my career in other ways. I mean, like one thing I started very early is I started a print collective with 20 other photographers selling
Oh.
prints.
That's awesome.
It started sort of.
What's the name of it?
It's called Loud Pictures, which is very creative. It's literally www.loud.pictures. And
Connor
it was
will get
more
that.
to help. It was to help other photographers who are now out of work. It was certainly to help myself, and then we give a decent chunk to charity as well. And it started with Music Cares COVID Fund.
Mhm.
So I felt like it was a good way. I was in a good position to give back to the photo community or to the music community by donating money. And so I hit up a bunch of friends and whipped this website, together. And which I have a computer science degree, so like it kind of helped. I mean, I can't say I've used it much since graduating, but so I was able to like whip this together and I found like a good print partner. And so, yeah.
That shot, Oliver Peck shot is cool.
Yeah. I mean, there's
Orville
some
Peck,
awesome.
excuse me.
There's some awesome
tattoo artist
stuff in here and some awesome.
Well, you've got Cage the
photographers.
Elephant, which is actually one of my favorite bands to photograph.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the amount of content that was sent in by photographers with Cage, it was like almost every photographer. And I mean, I know their current touring photographer, I haven't even asked him for anything. And then another friend reminded me, who grew up in Kentucky, that he used to tour with them in like 2008. So he just sent me 1,000 photos of them, being
Keenan.
like 23-year-old kids, like running around hotels and being new to the game. So yeah, Cage is awesome. So good to shoot.
They let press shoot the whole set. They make them sign a release that basically just says, if you get hurt, it's not our fault.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, they're definitely up there with one of my favorite bands to shoot.
Yeah.
They're psychos. They're legitimate psychos.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I love it.
What
But yeah,
else do we got in here?
So I mean, but to expand on that a little bit more, I'm interested to hear what you guys think, because like, this music photography in general, like the barrier to entry, like from 1995 to 2005 to 2015 is like so drastically different.
Oh yeah.
And I'm very interested. Not interested sounds the right word, but I'm wondering how many photographers, music photographers especially, are going to, if this is going to kind of end that game for them. They're not, people, even like crew people who are going to be out of work, like they're going to have to get new jobs. So like when the tour world comes back around, like they may have like new careers and new jobs with insurance, and like their wife likes at their home, and like, so I'm curious to see what this is going to do for the photography industry as a whole, music photography specifically, and then even just the music industry. I mean, venues are closing, and it's a mess.
Well,
yeah,
I don't know.
There's so many factors. I don't know. Personally, like the hardest part for me is, and I'm sure for you too, is that the way I navigate this industry is by meeting people. Like that is how I do it.
Right.
Like it's not so much
relationships.
Yeah, like I don't really make most of my money from the actual shooting. It's from the networking and the doing the other projects and the doing the photo shoots with the people I meet. So the fact that I don't have my vessel to meet people anymore is really difficult. So it's more so like, all right, what can I, I mean, it's really hard to plan for something that you don't know. So I kind of just
don't know when, and could be at different times in different parts of the country.
And I'm kind of in the same boat as you, Rob. And I mean, that's why I'm doing this, is because I find a lot of meaning and value and such in community and coming together and talking and learning from each other. So this is my way of staying active in music photography world when I can't shoot. And then I have to figure out the money thing on my own. It doesn't really work. But this doesn't make me money. I mean, I make enough money to pay for the Zoom account, and that's probably it. But
Evan wanted to know, does video play any role in your work? If so, in what way?
I find it's very hard to do both. I think it was hard to do both well.
Well, yeah, it's a very good point.
So I think my sweet spot is I film, but I don't put a lot of pressure on myself to, like, especially if you need to start incorporating audio into it as well. Like, so getting good video, good stills, and then good audio. I mean, unless you're talking about like the show where you could just plug in straight to the board or something. But I like, they just did Killers did a tour trailer kind of thing, and they use like a ton of my footage. So like it has a place for like as a documentarian, but like they're certainly not going to make like a feature length documentary from my footage probably. But when they need like some moments from live shots and backstage and the travel and stuff, like I have that, so I think that's sort of the sweet spot. And so I do like most of the video work I do now, like with commercial clients, is more like in a directing way. So I just feel
use
like
use your visuals. You don't.
Yeah, and I could, I have a visual background, so I could kind of speak camera language to like a DP, as opposed to like just wanting to do everything. I could sit back and kind of use my mind more.
Does the degree, which is tech related, how does that help you on tour? I do IT for a living, so I find that I use it in almost everything that I do, because everything is tech now.
Yeah. I mean, this computer science degree is, what year is it? Is 19 years old now.
Right.
So,
it's changed.
There's not much, if you want like a 2002 like GeoCities website, I'm your guy. But
you still know how to bold text in HTML.
Absolutely.
What? That's MySpace taught him that. Don't.
Yeah.
No.
He still uses a MySpace page. That's what his portfolio is on.
Yeah, exactly. It just I've customized it so much. Actually, so Anne Marie, who's in the chat, she's one of the lab pictures. She's got stuff on lab pictures.
Oh, cool. We'll have to check. You got? Can we?
I'll pull it back up.
No, it's all good. Let's have Connor throw her link in there, and people can kind of check it out on their screen.
Okay.
Does that work, Steve?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Steve, if you want to pull up her portfolio, that's cool. You should do that. Steve, I'm trust Steve.
Don't do that. You don't want to do that. Who is it that we're talking about?
Anne Marie. Anne-mariephotography.com. Connor has it in chat.
Okay, cool.
Halavanic.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There you go.
He's got it in here. I'll do
Yeah,
that.
she shoots music and lifestyle, Austin photographer. But yeah, like tech wise, I mean, especially like when I first started, it certainly helped. I mean, now I feel like we're all kind of well versed. No,
Oh,
wait,
Anne Marie, you're good.
no, no, I don't
It's
think
not
that's
her?
her. I don't think hold on, let me move my. No, yeah, I'm pretty certain that's not her.
AnneMarieHalo.com. Come on, Connor.
Yeah, no.
Quality. God. It's okay. He's right over. He's right the other 99% of the time, so we'll take it. You guys, this is a
He's like,
wedding.
no, I'm not a wedding
This
photographer.
wedding photographer is crushing it though. That was a beautiful photo.
Yeah,
What'd you
no,
say,
these
Anne
are
Marie?
nice,
What?
nice shots.
Halo.
HALOVANIC.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, cool website.
Yeah.
Hit the portraits or music or something.
Yeah,
Let's see.
I haven't seen this that part, but yeah, that's
Ooh, pretty. Pretty work.
she does a lot of the animated um the camera that has like the three lenses,
Oh
and
yeah.
then they kind of animate like it's the same moments animated. I think it's a whole section on her website.
Let me see the top animation. Oh, 3D GIFs?
Yeah.
Huh. That's creative.
I
So
love
yeah,
that.
I mean, like this loud pictures thing. I mean, that's why I created it is, I quickly saw the bond it was forming. A lot of the photographers on there I know personally, but there's some that I've never met. And that people have been reaching out to me personally, and so it's been a good community project. And like I
It's
said,
fun.
writing a check to a charity every month is awesome, especially during a time of like now. So we were giving to Music Cares. Now we're doing Crew Nation, and then we're also doing the NAACP
All
Legal
proceeds
Defense
go to
Funds.
it?
No, not all proceeds. So a sizable portion goes to the photographer, and then some to charity, and then some just
What do
for
you do about releases?
Sorry, guys. Disregard my stuff. Pop up on the screen.
I mean, I'm just going to assume that if they're sending me this stuff, that they own the photos. So,
Don't
I
put
don't
them
mean
on.
that. I mean as far as band permission, anything like that.
oh no, I mean, I think most of these, or as far as I know, every band on here, like I'm not very familiar with like or hearing of them, making you sign releases or anything like that. So,
Right.
but and some of these like vary. Like I could tell like that Amy Winehouse one was probably like on assignment for Wire Image.
Some great
So
shots in here.
yeah, it's a good collection. I think we have about 120 photos on here right now. This is a
That's
band I
awesome.
work with a lot, Arkells. They are Canadian band, and then so I've
Love
done
the
some touring with
studio
them.
shot.
Yeah, that's by a guy named Nathan Nash, who's also tours with them. So yeah, so this has been a good way to just again like connect with the community. Oh, you didn't have to click on that just because my name was on there, but
Well, actually, I kind of did because you've got Rob Loud in here.
yeah, I know. Well, so I was telling everyone in sort of this intro, like I promise you, if my last name was Smith, this website wouldn't be called Smith Pictures. Like I'm not. I don't have like an about the founder section or anything. I was like thinking of a name, and I'm like, well, I already own loud.pictures domain. I'm like, so like whatever. I'm just gonna make
What
it
if
called
your
Loud
last
Pictures.
name was Pictures?
Yeah, I would just call
Pictures.
I don't know. I feel like I should have a better answer for that.
No, it's
But
all
yeah,
good.
I don't know.
I shouldn't ask the question to begin with. Is where we should draw the line.
Yeah, I got you.
Steve, did you see any more questions in there? Otherwise, we can finish this off.
I'm looking right now.
Okay.
Connor is just on the putting people on timeout so quick. The guy's amazing.
Bye, friends. My friends are escaping
No,
to the
that looks
back
like
door.
we're pretty well covered on the questions.
All right, cool. Well, then let's finish this off. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Well, obviously, Steve, we're here every weekend, but Rob, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I was honored to be invited and
Of course.
to finally meet you guys.
If you have anything,
Just-
sorry, go.
No, no, no. I was so Steve. So you still are in IT now?
Yeah, that's what I actually do for my quote unquote day job. Is IT, and then I do a lot of podcasting and
Mm-hmm.
Steve has
there's
a podcast
there's
called
no
Behind the Shot, which is kind of the
Okay.
inspiration for the second part of this, where, I kind of interview, and then he kind of goes behind the shot, and that's what that's about, where he does that in long form on his podcast. It's pretty good. He has a lot of great
Gotcha.
photographers
my
discuss one
shows
image.
are, and it's not just music photography, it's a little bit of everything from
Okay.
from
You know, I think I may have actually had that like in the chamber
In the
nice.
chamber. I like that.
From
Bull.
And
No, yeah, it's
Connor
it's
put it in
everybody
chat, too.
from like I just had the photographer for the San Francisco 49ers on. He's the current
awesome.
episode. Scott Kelby, and then I've also had Adam on and
it was chill.
Christy Goodwin on. So it's a little bit of everything from landscape to portrait to that's it.
I got the
It's
Tommy
good.
Lee locked and loaded.
Steve,
Oh,
let's.
the Tommy Lee is Dustin. Do you know Dustin?
No.
Dustin Jack, great guy. He used to photograph for an auction house, like one of the big auction houses.
Mm-hmm.
So he learned all his lighting having to take pictures of things like the ruby red slippers from The Wizard of Oz, which reflect like mad.
Make
Or
medical
Elvis's
lighting.
Cadillac. And so he does all the Motley Crue stuff too.
That's awesome. Who we said this? What San Francisco who? 49ers?
Yeah, 49ers. Terrell Lloyd. He's the latest
Okay.
episode.
Cool.
And I probably don't do as much music as I should because I don't want people to think it's just a music because that's what I shoot.
No, man, do what you like.
So I go the other way, but
Yeah.
I've had Adam on. I've had, like I say, Christy Goodwin's been on. Brad, do you know Brad Moore?
No.
No. Okay. I've had Brad on. Matthias has been on. Bunch of other ones, but yeah, it's a little of everything.
Cool.
Do me a favor.
Yeah.
Let me know if you like it though.
I
By the
will.
way,
Yeah,
that
for sure.
episode you've got queued up is super old.
Okay.
Production quality has changed since then.
And
Well,
but Steve's voice has stayed just as consistently awesome.
I'm sure.
Yes, it has.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of condensing over there with your new mic, right?
Yeah. Let me turn the compressor off.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Compressor is on. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody say thank you to Rob for letting us edit his image. That's very nice of you, man.
Yeah, everyone did an awesome job. It was a very valuable experience, and thank you for showing me that I completely missed the worst part of the photo.
See, I love that you got something out of this. It's not just
awesome.
that people learn from you. You actually absorbed from this. I love that.
Yeah, I knew I would. So,
all right, guys.
yeah,
Well,
cool.
I'm gonna
Thank you so
rate.
much, guys.
I'm gonna rate another Magic the Gathering channel for the hell of it. You guys stay on here because I'm gonna go off stream. Just a second. So basically, after we finish this, I can launch all of these viewers into another stream of a friend. And there's nobody streaming photography, so we just go to Magic the Gathering, which is a card game, and it's kind of fun.
Yes.
It's sad there's not people streaming photography though.
I know. We're working on it. We're spreading it slowly. All right. I just rated, so that should do it. Let me stop the stream.